So this is going to be an instructional / overview video of the used Autocruise Vista. This is on an 05 plate. First of all, we're going to go around the external of the vehicle and then we'll go into the habitation area. So the first thing I'm going to show you, if you need to get access to the bonnet, is to release the bonnet. It's just underneath the driver's steering wheel. Pull that lever once and that will then release. Here we have your gas locker, so you can fit two 6 kilogram tanks inside here, and then you connect at the top onto the gas regulator with a hose. Here we have your Truma flue, so when the boiler is on gas, this is where the fumes exhaust from, so just keep this clear at all times as it does get quite hot. Behind the rear axle we have your grey waste release, so this is on a clip, so you can take this off and extend it out where needed, and you're better off with two hands on this, one on here and one on the valve itself there on the lever to drain it. We've got toilet cassette, so what I'll do is get the cassette out now. So as you can see, I've got access to the toilet cassette, and this one you've got your cassette at the bottom, and then at the top this little compartment, this is what's going to be your solution / fresh water to use as your flush. So you take the cover off here, fill it in with your solution, and you can see a gauge on the left hand side this tube. This is your level of how much water's in there for your flush, so you do need to top that up. And then below is your toilet cassette. To release your cassette, this yellow lever here, you just need to push that down and pull the cassette out, and that will then release. So as you can see, I've got the cassette out. So if you want to empty the cassette, what you need to do is this grey nozzle on the left, twist it out to the left, take the yellow cap off, and then if you tilt the cassette up, all the fluids will pour out. If you put your thumb on this button at the top, this lets air into the top of the cassette, so all the fluids flow out a lot faster. Also, you can open the cassette blade here manually, and then obviously clean internally with a hose pipe if needed. To put your cassette back into place, all you need to do is align it, slide it in, and then the main thing is that this secure clip is back up and it's in its locked position, so the cassette won't move in or out in transit. As you can see, we've got an electric step which is controlled by a button in the habitation, which we will get to. So currently now we are on the passenger side, so the first compartment we come to is going to be a bit of a garage. So this vehicle does have a full-size spare wheel, and then direct below we've got a cover plate which is your leisure battery. Next we have your Truma flue. So this one is actually for your hot water. So when you are boiling your water, you need to take this off when it's on gas. And then here we have your filler. So this is for your freshwater tank. So you can fill the freshwater tank up in two places. You can fill it up from here. So there is a connection which I'll get to, and all you need to do is plug onto there, put the other end in a water bud, so you can't fill it from a hose pipe here. So this is an electric connection, it pumps it in to the freshwater tank. The other way is under the floor internally, which we will get to. So here we are connected to mains hookup, so this is where you plug in when you're at campsite or if you are anywhere where you've got physical shore connection. We've got ventilation for your fridge freezer, so keep that clear at all times. And then the last compartment we have is at the front, behind this cover here. We have your diesel fill, so you just need to use your vehicle blade key for that, but that is where your diesel tank is. Okay, so now we're going to go into habitation. Like I said, it's an electric step which is controlled just by this button here, this rocker switch. So as you can see, we are in the habitation area. It's quite compact, so I'm going to try and show you this as best as possible. We have got some light switches here. These will only work when the master control panel is on, which we will get to. In this first locker we come to, we've got storage, you've got hanging storage, and then we have an aerial. So this is a manual, so telescopic, so you undo the nut at the top, you can slide this pole up and down, and then the control is at the back. So as you can see, it's in green, it's saying that I have got strong signal, but if you are in red, that means you've got weak signal or no signal at all. Here we have a fold-away table, which is stored there, and then this little device here, this is what I was explaining, saying this is the connection for external water fill. So you connect this end onto the motorhome, and then this end goes into a water tank. And then what you need to do is turn on the 12-volt system for the water to pump. Here we have your kitchen sink. So on your kitchen sink, if you want to use water, what you need to do is fill up your fresh water tank. Once the fresh water tank is full, you'll open the fresh water tap on the cold side. You'll turn on the 12-volt system, and the 12-volt system is just up here in this cupboard. So you turn it on, and then you've got your pump here. So your pump is external or internal. So the external one is to fill up the water, and the internal, if you turn it on, that will pump water from the fresh water tank through the tap. So fill up your fresh water tank, turn on your control panel, and then turn on the water pump internal. Open the tap on the cold side. That will vent any air in the system. Once you've done that, twist it round to the hot side, and then what that's going to do is going to fill up your boiler with roughly around 10 litres of fresh water. Once you get a steady flow on the hot and cold, that means your system is fully primed, ready to use. The only thing you do need to do is on your hot water, you will need to boil that water, as it's not instant. Here, directly below, in this cupboard, we got two controls here. So the one what says hob on it, you need to switch that on for the hob when you're on electric. And then the bottom one is water. So if you want hot water just from electric source, that is where you turn it on. So you turn that on, that will boil the water when you're connected to mains hookup at campsite. As you can see, we have four-ring burner, 3 is gas, and then 1 is electric. So the electric one will only work on mains hookup again at campsite, but the rest, obviously, if you're off grid, you'll be on gas. One safety thing we do recommend is obviously this glass cover above, is to keep this up and let the stove cool down after use. Just because of the temperature difference in glass, you could potentially shatter it. Directly below the oven and grill, as you can see there, that is where your boiler is for your water. The only reason you need to access down here is that yellow valve. Currently that is in the vertical position. So in the vertical position, that means that all the water is drained out of the boiler. To shut this valve, all you need to do is knock it down, like so. So now it's down, that means the valve is shut. So when you prime your system, the water isn't going to pour out, it's going to fill the boiler up and come to your tap. So next we come to your control panel for the habitation area. So on the left hand side, we've got your 240 volt breaker. So this is obviously on any plug sockets and stuff like that. It is labelled up, but you've got obviously sockets, fridge, water heater, cooker, and light chargers. Basically when you are plugged in at campsite, if something trips, check here. Most of the time it is the campsite post, but it could be inside the motorhome. The first button on the left, we've got on or off. So on is charge supply because I'm connected to mains hookup. And then if I want to charge one of the batteries, I need to select car battery or the van. So one's habitation and one is the vehicle. So basically, if I want to be off grid and I'm not connected to mains hookup, that be switched off and I will select my battery source which I want to use first. So the van would be your ledge battery and the car would be the engine one. This one here, you got your water pump. So top is external, so you turn on your system, turn on the pump external, plug in that connection, and that fills up the fresh water from a water bud. Internal is to turn on the pump internal, so when you filled up the fresh water tank, the water system will come around through your pipe work to your taps. And then here you've got battery test, so you can select the top one, select the bottom one, press and hold, and that will give you a fresh water level. Currently we are empty. Battery, press and hold, and it'll give you a battery level. And then on the right here we just got some 12 volt fuses. As you can see, we've got two 40 volt sockets. This switch here is to actually run the fridge freezer when you are connected to electric. So you turn this on when you are connected at campsite, and then you can select your power on the fridge. But you need that switch on for the fridge to run on 240 volts. So here on your fridge, because I've turned that on, I selected 230 volts, that's running the fridge on electric on mains hookup. 12 volt is off your leisure battery, so you can switch that. So when you're travelling, you'd have it on 12 volts. So when the engine's on, the engine's charging the leisure battery, and that will run a feed off. If you're off grid, you may be on gas, which is at the bottom. For your gas one, you will need to ignite the gas. So turn it on to gas, turn your gas canisters on, and this is your temperature dial. You press this in and use the igniter, and that will light up eventually for the gas side of things. So that is your fridge freezer. Here we have your ultra store, so this is for your water on gas. So like I said, on electric you'll turn on the switch in this cupboard here for heating the hot water on electric. If you want to heat the water on gas, you turn that on here. So turn your gas canister on, turn gas on, and then select your desired temperature. So you can go up to 70 all the way down to 30 degrees. I'm not going to leave this on because it will fault because I've no gas. So make sure you do turn on the gas. Again, you've got 12 volt sockets, 240 volt socket there. And then the last control we have is on this side. So this is actually your heating now. So when you're heating, you've got electric at the top. So you've got fan, which is a higher fan speed. You've got a low fan speed, and then you've got off. Then the bottom one is gas, and then higher gas as well. Basically, the different kilowatts. So the lower fan probably is 1 kilowatt. The higher fan's probably 2 kilowatts. So if you're off grid, you'll be on gas on its own. If you're at campsite, you'll be on electric. And then the dial in the middle is your temperature. You've got some storage underneath this bench here to make up this bed area. You'll see a picture of that in the video. Basically, you pull this the bench seat out on rails. There's a panel under here that you lift up, and you use the info cushions to make the bed. Under this floor, I'll lift it up in a moment, but there is access to your fresh water tank, so that's where you can fill up with a hose pipe, and you will need access to that when you are draining the fresh water tank. In here we have your shower room. So we've got your basin tap, and you've got your shower tap there as well. So you can lift this out of the way. We have your toilet. So on the left hand side is to open the toilet cassette, and then there's a flush button in the middle, and then here is your gauge for your toilet cassette. So once that is in red from green, that means your toilet cassette is full. As I was saying, under the carpets, this is where you'll find access to your fresh water tank. So if you want to fill this water tank up from just a hose pipe instead of using the pump externally, all you need to do is take this cap off, put your hose pipe in, and obviously fill it up. Just watch it so you don't overflow it. If you want to drain down the fresh water tank to empty for storage, open this cap here, and at the bottom of the tank there is a black bung. You just need to get your hand in, pull the bung out, and that will drain the fresh water tank completely empty. So that is the instructional / overview video complete. If you have any more questions, leave a comment below, or you can always drop us an email or give us a call.